Hello everyone, my name is Zura and today's topic is object-oriented JavaScript. How you can create a class. Actually in JavaScript there is no definition of class, but how you can create objects from a function, from a constructor. How you can extend these classes. So let's get started. I want to show this example. We have a function person which has a name property inside it and say hello. And the say hello prints something. So if we create an, let me comment this, we don't need it right now. If we create a new instance of this, let's say class. Okay, this prints, of course, hello from Zura. Let's observe the person object. In the previous video, we talked about prototype and underscore proto, that it has reference to the prototype of the object from which it was extended, actually. And now let's observe this P object. So this P object extends from, the person object extends from object. And it has name and say hello. And this person object doesn't have its own proto, which should have reference to the person, like natives have. Like when we have let 5 is new number, let n is new number 5, and we print that n. So we do the similar thing. We have we are creating an instance of some, let's say, class. It's not class, actually, it's an object. But when you create something with new keyword, it's more like class. So the number has proto on the number primitive, but our person actually is an object. So it's not like native, it's an object which has constructor to be a function person, and when you mouse over this and you can see what's the actual content, actual body of this function person. And it has its own proto, which goes to the native object prototype. So what we could do here is that take the say hello method, comment it from the constructor code, and put it in the prototype method. This would give us that, oops, yeah, I need to move this up before I call say hello. And this person has only its own name property right now, but in the proto it has additional say hello method, which is our say hello method. And when we call p say hello, it works in exactly the similar way, and we're calling it. So what's the difference? Which is better, writing in the prototype or in the person? As far as both of them work in a similar way, you can actually try both of them and do which one you prefer. But both of them has its own advantages. Like you can create private variables here. Var g is, I don't know, var age is 26, and we can use this age here when we have method here. So, but you cannot use private variables in this when you are creating method in the prototype. So it's more like public and private variables. When you define a variable using this, it's a public, and you can actually use it here, p name. Here is, and when you have a variable defined by var or let or const keyword, it's a private variable. They aren't visible outside of this function. So if we register a method on the prototype, it's an outside of the person function, obviously, and we cannot use this age method here. But this has advantage more like in an object-oriented conception. So let me comment this and use this. So when you have a method in the prototype, this means that every instance of the person has this exact same method. So you can, let me create a new instance, P2, and just print P1, P and P2. Let me delete this number. So we get two person objects with the same name, but they are different objects actually, and they don't have their own say hello. They have say hello from the prototype, meaning that if at some point I want on the fly, I want to modify my say hello method, and it should be modified for all objects. Imagine that I have these objects created, and after they are created, I want to modify my say hello and, for example, print the date also, the current date. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create, I'm going to do the similar thing. Say hello is a function. Oops. And I'm gonna write date here. So, and then let me call say hello on P1 and say hello on P2 also. So now we see that the method is modified just once, but it is actually modified on both objects because the method is called from the prototype. But when I have here the method inside person constructor and I don't have it here, writing method in the prototype actually doesn't make any sense, because when the engine finds the say hello on the object itself, it doesn't go to the prototype. It is not defined, of course. So now it just writes without date, because this say hello method is not used. If I want to do the same thing to add date using this approach, I have to do it like p say hello is a function, and for this case only for P1 will be changed, and I need to do the same thing for P2. And if I have 10 instances of P of person object person function, then I will have to do this for 10 times. Okay, that's about creating methods. Now I'm going to show you how you can extend and create a new function from the person prototype.